Welcome everybody to another Monster Forge toy thing review. Maybe it's the first time I've ever stepping into the into the whole Transformers review thing. I primarily collect Transformers, third-party Transformers, Legend Skills Transformers, and so that's why I focus on these guys so much. But yeah, this is I was looking around for reviews of these particular toys. This is the Mr. Moon Mini Master Series MM01, the recorder, and MM02, the mic. And of course, it's a knockoff third party version of Blaster and Perceptor from Transformers. And they're just little guys. A regular Transformer, a deluxe Transformer is, somewhere in the 6 or more inch range. And, like this is a deluxe Transformer, which, if you're looking for Transformers reviews, you probably already know that, but this is just in case somebody doesn't. But yeah, this is a 6-gun from the recent Transformers War for Cybertron Siege line. But we'll get back to him in a minute. Focusing on right now are these guys, and I'll have to show you the package first. I went ahead and took them out because I'm impatient like that. But yeah, this is the package they come in. Now this is an older set. I haven't been able to find any information about exactly when this set came out, but I know it's at least a couple of years old. And you might be saying, why are you reviewing an older toy? Well, when you look on YouTube right now for reviews of this thing, because I was interested, I wanted to get a Blaster and a Perceptor. I always thought they were a pretty cool duo in Transformers the movie, and I've been trying to collect a set of the figures that were in the movie. But anyway, because it's the best movie ever made, right? The 1986 movie. But, I wasn't talking about that. Yeah, anyway, so, I was looking for some Legends figures, and I'm not the richest person in the world. I can't really pay a whole lot for each one. And so a lot of people that when they first see this thing, it has a reputation for being more expensive than it should be. Basically, the retail on this for 2 Legend scale figures was like $60 whenever it first came out. And, to be fair, a lot of the third-party Legend scale figures are like $30 a piece. And that's understandable, but a lot of people were really ticked off when these came out because the quality was not quite up to a $30 price point for each figure. So, luckily, I was able to find these kind of dirt cheap. I found them on eBay for, it was like $22 and something shipped. So when it all comes down to it, they were less than $10 a piece, and that ain't too bad. But anyway, getting right on with it. Yeah, nobody was really doing any reviews. There's a few people have done reviews, and kudos to you guys, but like every review has been a really negative review, and I was like, God, I hope these things are okay. And the bad thing was I didn't look at the reviews till after I'd already bought the thing on eBay. I didn't know their reputation. I just thought they looked really good. And, to be fair, I still think they look pretty good. And I actually like this set. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about the package. They come in a, when you get them, they come in a tray. A black tray. And it's, it's about what you expect anymore with these third-party Transformers. I like it. I kept them in place, kept them nice and straight. And, of course, you get an instruction sheet. It's clear as a bell, I had watched a lot of videos of people transforming them, so I didn't really even need to look at the instructions, but, But anyway, let's take a look at the boys. Here's Blaster or Recorder. That's the last time I'm calling him Recorder. And this is Mike. It's the last time I'm calling him Mike. This is Blaster and Perceptor, of course. first thing you'll say when you look at them is, man, they look remarkably similar. Their body types are very much the same. Their body types are very much the same. And it's like, why? And I'll tell you why. It's because they were kind of swiped from another figure, the Mech Planet Hot Soldiers Soundwave figure. And yeah, honestly, they really are. Like it's almost an identical mold with some minor changes here and there. A lot of people are saying the quality of plastic is not as good. I don't know. It's pretty similar to me. I'm not real picky about that as long as it doesn't break whenever I'm goofing around with it. They haven't broken yet. I'm fairly easy on my Transformers and toys in general anyway. But it has a couple of improvements. If you look at the Hot Soldier Soundwave, he has no swivel at the bicep. But both of these guys have swivels, which really comes in handy. And I really wish that Soundwave had that, because it's a very nice feature to have that ability. You can hold the weapons better that way and get more posability out of it. Another thing, there's no waist on Soundwave, but these guys do have a waist. It's a limited turn, but it's enough to get a little bit of expression, into a pose that you're going for. Another thing in particular with Perceptor here, his feet go up in such a his feet go flat in such a way that he stands a lot more level. If you look at the Soundwave, which I think his name is Soundtrack in the Hot Soldiers, Mech Planet's Hot Soldiers line. But if you look really close, that didn't help at all. If you look really close, his foot's not quite level. There's a little bump there. And it's just enough. Oh, yeah, sorry. I modded this little part here. Don't worry about that right now. Anyway, yeah, he doesn't always stand really well. I'm lucky right now I'm on a very level surface. But anyway, enough talk about this guy and the swipery, because it was swipery, but that's part and parcel for, all the things that are third-party Transformers nowadays. The bootleg scene over there, knockoffs, it's huge. And like everybody's knocking everybody off. And, a company like Mech Fans Toys, which they put out a lot of the Legend scale. Well, they just put out Legend scale figures, I think. But anyway, their figures are, most of them anyway, are just knockoffs of other people's stuff. But, yeah, I like them. I think the colors are good. They're real simple. There's nothing flashy about them. And, there's no real massive amount of paint apps or anything like that. Mostly they're molded in the color they're in. So if you want, really highly detailed paint jobs, these guys might not be for you. Once again, $10 a pop, you can't really complain. If you paid $60 for this thing, I understand you being sore. I would be too. Well, I wouldn't have paid $60 in the first place, but it's just me. But anyway, let's take a look at Blaster first. I think he's a really nice looking figure. He's let's see. I think he's got a great face. It looks almost like, almost like he's mugging for the camera. He's got a great profile. To me, I just think he looks just like the character from the cartoon. They don't come with the faction symbols. I stuck these on. Once again, I'm impatient. Got him out of the package, and it doesn't feel like an Autobot to me till he's wearing that symbol. But he's got some good details. He's got, of course, the speakers on the inside of the legs, and the buttons, and whatever, all the little details like that. He's got a big backpack on his back, which, Soundwave had something like that anyway. Some other differences between him and the Soundwave mold is the back of Soundwave is hollow here, or it's open. You can see in there. There's holes in there. They filled it in with a little plate right here. Now, of course, he has a big giant butthole, but that's his business. Articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so you get a lot of expressive movement out of that. Blaster's ball joint's really nice and tight. Perceptor's not so much, but that's something that I can easily fix. So he can look up, he can look down, side to side, and he does the head tilt thing too. So he's like, what? Let's see. The shoulders are on a ball joint, and it's a nice tight ball joint too. Plus, you can get some, because of transformation, you get some butterfly, movement there. Bring the arm back like that. That kind of breaks up. Well, it's not so bad. That's pretty good. I ain't going to complain about it. Of course, you get a bicep swivel, which once again, that, hey, how you doing? Gives you a nice range of motion there. He has a hinge at the elbow, 90 degrees of articulation. Not so much that way, but this way. He has a ball at the wrist, so it allows him to turn his wrist, and if you needed to, like he's saying, it's right there. Yep. Like I said before, he has articulation at the waist, which is really nice and welcome. You can, get some good poses out of that. Yeah. Just a little bit of, that little bit adds a whole lot. He has ball joints at the hip, and his are nice and tight. He has a swivel above the knee. He has a knee bend, but here's the thing. Both of these guys, when they get to this point, it's loose, real loose. It's something about the way it sets in there. As long as it's like this, it's fine. As long as it's like this, it's fine. And once you get past this little hiccup in the... And I'm going to figure out a way to tighten that up. But it really, honestly, it doesn't bother me much because at least it's not flopping all over the place all the time. And when he transforms, that part's kind of locked in place. He doesn't so much have articulation at the ankle like Perceptor does, because the handle of the radio or the boombox mode is attached. So you could get a little bit out of it, but it looks really weird. But whatever it takes. But yeah, that was him's articulation, and so we'll transform him now. It's really simple. You just start with the head, turn it around. It flips back into the back. Now, I've seen people transform him like this, and that's just weird. If you can, Transformers are supposed to be robots in disguise. So I'm trying to disguise him. Then you take his arms and flip them back like this. He transforms for the most part just like the Soundwave, the Hot Soldier Soundwave. Then you flip his wrists here, and it pegs into, there's these pegs right here, and the pegs go into the actual the part of the hand where the gun fits in. So it clips in there like that. You tighten it up a little bit. You can adjust it because it's ball joints. You can always do that. Now what you do is you turn the legs like this. You lift this up, and you could go ahead and try to do it like this, but it's got nothing to connect to. So what I like to do is I like to flip out the handle like this, and then this folds up, and there's a little peg hole right here on the bottom of the foot. And you can see that in the light. And there's a little tab right here that tabs in. And you just got to get it just right. Okay. And it'll tighten up in a minute better because it's kind of loose because his knees are loose again. But anyway, this side, same thing. You turn it, and like I said, you go ahead and get the handle out like that, and once again peg it into the bottom of the foot, and then this rolls around here, this rolls around here, and they clip together. Now, one of the issues with Soundwave was whenever you turned him into a tape player, you could sit him down and he'd fall right over because he's got nothing back here. But they kind of came up with a way to handle that on this figure, and his blaster actually plugs into his butthole. And look at that. Isn't that the cutest thing? It's a cute little boombox. And the little cassette holder flips out. Supposedly it holds Soundwave's cassettes. I've heard that it's he doesn't come with any cassettes, by the way. But this is one of I got the second edition of the Soundwave, so he came with tapes that don't match the colors they're supposed to be. But let's see. Does that? I don't know if that fits in there or not. Maybe I have it in the wrong way. Maybe. Now it's a permanent part of him. Yeah, it actually does fit in there. I don't know if it's ever going to come out, so, Blaster now has a Decepticon stuck in his belly forever. Tragic. And to transform him back, you just reverse the steps. I think it's a neat idea that they, I'm not cool with people stealing stuff from people, but it's kind of, nobody really in the third party game can really complain about stealing anything because all of the intellectual properties that these guys are using are not licensed to them, so everybody's stealing. Doesn't make it right, but yeah, doesn't make it right. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but I think it's kind of ingenious that they took Soundwave and did that with him. It's a natural choice, and I think the results are pretty good. People were complaining about the plastic on this being low quality plastic, but it feels just like, I don't know, I can't really tell the difference between it and, like Hasbro plastic. It's pretty solid. It's not thin. It's not flimsy. If it's not, like this is Hasbro, it's kind of hard to, it's no thinner than some of the parts on the Hasbro stuff. So complain to somebody else. Anyway, that was Blaster. And we'll take a look at Perceptor now. Perceptor is really cool. I like him a lot. He's got a little bit more issues than Blaster. For one, mine has a really loose door here. And once again, you can see so much details. This is, this would be a great place for some sticker company if they ever made any, like fan-made stickers for this. I might look, I might not. I don't really care. I usually keep my robots in bot mode, and so I think he looks fine. But he has his accessories anyway give him a little bit more character than Blaster in some ways because he's got his microscope on top, and it is articulated both ways, so he can angle it whichever way he wants to a certain point. He can't knock himself out. And it does go up and down, so he can aim his modular laser wherever he wants it to go. Yeah, he's just as articulated, except, like I said, he doesn't have the handle of the radio sticking out, so you can get him in some different poses and stuff that you might not be able to do with Blaster because of those wonky heels. Same articulation as Blaster. Nothing really different except for that and the gun. He comes with, and I meant to highlight Blaster's gun too. It's nice representation of the gun he came with. It's a little bit stubby, but I mean he's a little bit stubby, so what are you gonna do? Perceptor's gun is really nice. It's a lot like his old gun, and it looks a lot like the gun in the cartoon, so that's cool. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Yep. So, transforming him. They're going to take his weapon out. That thing's going to flop down 1,000 times. Now, one thing I will say about him, and this is one thing I was kind of disappointed, was, the knee was pretty loose on Blaster. This one's 10 times worse. It's like just dangling. But, you get it past this point right here, and it's solid. I mean, you can hold him like that. He's a little bit loose at the mushroom peg right there, but nothing that a little bit of floor polish won't clean up, or even like a little inserted piece of paper. But a little inserted piece of paper, no big deal breaker at this price point. Understand, if I had bought this, I would never have. If I had bought this for this, the $60 price point for the two, I'd have been mad. I've been fighting mad. Maybe I'm fighting mad. Just, I'll never buy from you again. Which coincidentally you can't. I think this is the only thing Mr. Moon ever made. I wonder why. I really do wonder why. I mean, oh wait, it was expensive as crap. Anyway, getting on to his transformation, the first thing you want to do is he's got a little bracket that's right here on his shoulder, and it's basically, it tabs into a hole. So his sculpt is a little bit different. You see there's a hole right there, and this tabs in right here, and it's a little two-pronged structure, and that's going to be important in a minute. You turn this way. I applied a label there. I think it looks nice because the old, why I did it. Anyway, just like Blaster, we turn the head, flip it back this way. Now this time it's going to be a little bit different, and there, I'm probably going to modify some things about this, but it's okay. Like I said, I hardly ever transform these things and stuff. They just mainly stay as robots, unless it's a really fun transformation. This one's not so much. It's okay. It's something. Anyway, I wish there was a way that these hands would go forward more like this, because I would like to have the knobs for the microscope on the outside. But as it is, the way it works is it bends like this. I'm probably going to cut a little channel here so they can flip backwards so you can get the microscope with the handles on it. Maybe. I'll see. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. You turn the hands forward like this. And then this, you'll have to angle them in together, okay? And this will plug into the hands like so. And you can kind of straighten everything up. And, oh, thank you, Perceptor, for dropping that tray. I didn't think you would do that. Anyway, similar but different. You bring his legs up like this, fold his feet in, and you turn it this way. Now, this is where the looseness becomes a problem, because this thing does not want to sit the way it should. But like I said, that's something that could probably easily be fixed. Both of them are pretty loose there at that joint. There's just some little problem with the tolerance there on that. It's not going to work. Well, just like Blaster, we have the gun helping as a kickstand. You plug the gun. Now, in this case, the gun's got a little hole on the side instead of it plugging into his butt, which, I mean, you technically could plug it into his butt because it's the same mold as Blaster. But you plug this little peg. There's a peg on the side of the backpack. You plug this in here, and it's kind of a kickstand in the back to hold the microscope somewhat stable. And, once you have it on a stable surface, it's not that big a deal, because you're not really going to be going, here's my thing. Well, I mean, if you wanted to turn him into the tank mode, that might become a problem, But you see, it's really, really loose. Like I said, something I'm going to fix, something that's easy to fix, I'm sure. But anyway, you flip down the little microscope, the specimen tray, and flip this down, and you have what is not a terrible microscope mode. I mean, does it look exactly like a microscope? No. Would it be better with those knobs on the sides of his arms? Yes. It works for me. Because like I said, he's a robot. I mean, somebody said these guys look like Power Master or Action Masters, the old G1 line where the robots didn't transform and they were just kind of action figures. That's fine. I love those figures, but these are nice because they do at least transform somewhat. They're not going to be as complex as a lot of the third-party stuff. A lot of the transformations and third-party stuff is just really out of this world, complicated and really fun transformations. These guys are just kind of flippity flip. We're saying that we're a boombox and a microscope, but you know, not the end of the world. But I really like them. I do. There's something about their simplicity that I really like. They really make me think of the cartoon because, you know, the cartoon designs were like cell animations, so they were very simple. But anyway, some comparisons. I'm going to sit these boys back here, and we're going to take a look at some comparisons here. Now, before I showed a deluxe, this is them next to a deluxe. You know, the deluxes are the biggest part of the regular Transformers line from Hasbro are going to be deluxes. That's where the bulk of it comes from. But they aren't really in scale with most deluxes, but I tend to have the Legends figures scaled to the Diaclone minis that are about an inch tall. So to these guys, a human would only come about right here. That's just my own personal scale. These guys are what's called Legends Plus scale, which means they're a little bit bigger than a normal Legends figure. A normal Legends figure is this big. And these guys are bigger than a regular Legends size figure. This is a Hasbro Legends. This is Outback. And Legends scale was that scale. It used to be called a Scout back in the day. But now they're calling them Legend scale. And I don't even know if they're making Legend scales anymore at this point because the line that's come out lately has no Legend scale that I know of. But anyway, that's about the size. Now, in my way of looking at scale, that's what's going to scale for me because when he transforms into a truck, a Diaclone figure would fit with him pretty well. So, you know, Blaster and Perceptor are somewhere in the same range as, you know, Soundwave. So, let's get this guy out of here. So that's kind of the scale right there. They are a little bit taller than Soundwave, but it's only a hair. Only a hair taller. It's not the worst thing in the world to me. Might be for you. I don't know. But anyway, the Optimus Prime that I use for this line is it's the knockoff or the bootleg of the Generation Toy? Yeah, Generation Toy Leader, as he was called. And he's about, you know, shoulder to shoulder with Blaster. Blaster's head's a little bit taller. But I don't mind it. Blaster was always kind of a big bot. Perceptor, not so much, but it's okay. He's okay at that scale, I guess. And another company line is Mech Fans Toys, and they have the Legends, the Legends Plus size too. And this is one of their latest figures is Sideswipe. And I think he looks pretty sharp next to him. Perceptor probably should have been closer to his height, but I'm not going to fight a war about it. But yeah, one other scale to look at is the actual most of the third-party figures started off as like a true legend scale, whereas the bigger robots were about as tall as a Legends figure, which doesn't really make them Legend scale, but people call it Legend scale. But anyway, that means that a Legends figure for a regular line would be much smaller. So Bumblebee, this is from New Age Toys, and this is Flipper, and he's a tiny little boy, and you know he's kind of dwarfed by some of the regular Legend stuff. But honestly, how cute is that? And I think that just fits really well with them. That's that's my preferred scale, is that Bumblebee be a little fella, and it actually scales with the Diaclone figure. You know, you could fit 2 Diaclones inside of that inside of that Volkswagen. But anyway, that's some size comparisons. And just for fun, since I mentioned before that I've been collecting the movie Transformers, I figured, why don't we get the crew together here. Have a little bit of wheelie action in the front. Cup's manning up. Cup doesn't want to stand up straight. And, yeah, we have some Hot Rod back there. And so, yeah, that's, well, you can't really see him, but Hot Rod's back there. But, yeah, I think they look pretty sharp together. And that's the way they'll be fitting in my collection. But anyway, some final thoughts. These are not the worst Legends Plus scale Transformers you can ever get. They're not anything groundbreaking. They're not worth the original price tag at all. There's a lot of people that have been putting these on sale off and on. I can't remember whether it was Big Bad Toy Store or TF Direct. I'm not sure. It might have been Show Z. Is that the name of the one? Anyway, one of the places had them on sale for a little while for $30 for the set. $15 for each one is not bad, I wouldn't think. Considering the fact that like this Hot Rod, he's much more complicated and the transformation is crazy. But this Hot Rod runs you about $25. I got him when he first popped up, and a Chinese seller was selling it for $20. But right now I think most places have him for $25. You compare it to that, $15 a piece for these guys is not bad, but don't pay any more than that, really, honestly. They're fine as they are, but they really aren't worth all of that. But if you're just looking for, I don't know, kind of an intro to the Legends scale stuff or the Legends Plus scale stuff, and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, these guys are perfect. I love them, and maybe you will too. Thanks, everybody. Bye.